Hello guys, this is me Simo Orohara. In this video we are gonna continue the series of a story of a monster number 4, and this time with Yhwach. I wanted to start this video by asking this question: is Yhwach the Soul King son, or he just one of his parts, or is he something else? If we want to put these questions in one question, we would say, what is the real relationship between Yhwach and the Soul King? First of all, until now we don't have any clear answers about his relationship, and what is new is that we have new informations that were revealed in the novel about the Soul King. Those new informations could give us a new perceptions about this mysterious relationship. So what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna spread all the main events that we have seen on Yhwach in the manga, and I will relate them with what has been revealed in the novels about the Soul King, and then based on the manga and the novel I will tell you my theory about that. So let's start with Yhwach. From the chapter 585, which was the first appearance of Yhwach, until chapter 536, we knew that this guy is the new villain of Bleach, and he is the leader and the king of the Quincy. Not only that, he had a past with Yhwach, and they fought each other 1000 years ago, and Yhwach defeated him. And personally, at that time when I saw that kind of relationship between Yhwach and Yhwach, I was thinking that Yhwach is like any king, but as a strong Quincy, and there were other kings of Quincy before him. But that thought has changed after the chapter 537 in the flashback of Everything But the Rain. Ishin told Ichigo that Yhwach, he is the founder of the Quincy, so the Quincy started from him. So we knew at that moment this Yhwach wasn't only the king of the Quincy, but he was the one who created their race. But Kobo didn't stop here. He gave us a full chapter about Yhwach, chapter 565. It was a good chapter because we knew some things about Yhwach's power and some of his background, but it didn't answer a lot of big questions about him, like was he born naturally like humans from a mother and father, or something else? That first. Second, Kobo didn't give us a timeline when this baby was born. 2000 years ago? A million years ago? We don't know. And third, Kobo didn't mention the place of those events. Is this baby Yhwach was born in the real world or Soul Society or another place? The things that we knew from that chapter, that Yhwach, he was an unusual creature. He seemed like a baby, but he was blind. He couldn't hear or cry or scream or anything. But he has a special power. He was like a miracle child. By sharing a part of his soul with others, when they touch him, they can be healed from the diseases that they were suffering from it, or whatever the thing that they need inside themselves. Just by touching the baby, they will get what they wanted. But in fact, those who had the parts of his soul, they died quickly, and when they die, the parts that shared with them return to the baby Yhwach with all their knowledge and power and skills when they were still alive. And by receiving his distributed parts of his soul, the baby Yhwach started to see and hear and also grow up, and he found himself treated like a holy person. So in general, that chapter didn't give us satisfactory answers about the background of Yhwach, and also until that chapter we didn't see direct hint that could tell there is direct relationship between Yhwach and the Soul King until chapter 588, when Yhwach invaded the Soul Palace. At that chapter, it turned out that it was maybe the first time Yhwach seeing the Soul Palace, and he was staring at the crystal house that contained the Soul King as if it was bringing back him some old memories. And here, when we saw that weird commentary of Hashwald and the mysterious reply of Yhwach, that was a small mystery comparing to the chapter of Yhwach when he defeated Ichibi and went to the Soul King to kill him and said, "My father," to the Soul King. And from there, when the issue of is Yhwach really a son of the Soul King came to the surface. Not only that, we saw that under the army of Yhwach there was some parts of the Soul King under his control, like the senator Gerard. It said that he is the heart of the Soul King and Berneda is the left hand of the Soul King. And when Yhwach absorbed the last pieces of the Soul King, he claimed the Soul Palace, his kingdom, and the start of his new world. And later in the last chapter 686, we knew that Yhwach's plan from the start was the elimination of the current system of the world, which is this circulation of life that is between the real world and the soul society, and also Wikomondo. He wanted to make those three worlds in one world, to eliminate the concept of death. And these were almost all the important things we have seen about Yhwach in the man. Now moving to the novel Can't Fear Your Own World, it revealed the story of the Soul King, how he became a Soul King, how the worlds of Bleach were created, and also how the noble families were involved in that. I made a video about that and you can check it if you want to know those things in details. In the novel it said that before the three worlds of Bleach were created, it was only one world, and that world was the original world. In that world there wasn't yet the meaning of life and death. The humans and the souls were living together. But in certain period of time the hollows appeared and they started devouring humans, and that's what later caused the appearance of a Minos. It was the first Minos. And because of this new change, the appearance of hollows that were devouring humans and also the gigantic Minos, a man was born. That man had a special power. He was the defender of the original world from the hollows by killing them and protecting people. And that man will be later the Soul King. And we don't know what was his true name. But on the other hand, he wasn't just killing the hollows that became a part of the system of the original world. In fact, he was eliminating them from the existence, like the Quincy do to the hollows in the main story. And by this act, the original world was going to the chaos. And as I said, there were humans and souls, and from those souls there were the ancestors of the five noble families, Kuchiki, Shihon, Shiba, and the fourth noble family that was revealed in the novel Tsunayashiro, and the fifth we don't know its name. So those five noble families came with the idea of segmenting the original world into three worlds, and to do that they needed a special power, and the man who was killing the hollows, he was the one. So they made that man a Soul King, and because, as I said, he has the power of the Almighty, by using that power, the original world was segmented into three worlds that we know, and he commanded Soul Society and the real world. And because the ancestors were afraid of the power of the Soul King, that someday he will turn against them, they sealed him inside a crystal. Not only that, they cut his body parts and his internal organs, and by that he became like a thing. And now guys, let's connect all the points together. First, didn't you notice that the world that Yhwach wanted to create is similar to the original world? Look what Yhwach said to Ichigo. It's like Yhwach wanted to bring back the old system of the original world. In the original world there wasn't a concept of death, and this is the most thing that Yhwach wanted. Second, in this page Yhwach was talking to the Soul King and he said that he's gonna end this humiliation. It's like if he knew what happened to the Soul King and how he was just a tool in the hands of the noble families. And this is the same thing that Tokinada, who is from the fourth noble family, the Tsunayashiro, and also his family's ancestors, were one of the big main reasons why the Soul King was sealed and his body parts were cut. Tokinada in the novel said this about Yhwach. So now we can understand the meaning of Yhwach's words when he was about to kill the Soul King. But now to the big question. Is Yhwach the son of the Soul King? In my opinion, I'm not with the idea that Yhwach is the son of the Soul King biologically. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, Yhwach said to the Soul King, my father, but it doesn't necessarily mean he is his father. I do think it was just a metaphor from Yhwach, because even Tokinada himself, the one who knows the origin scenes of the 5 noble families, he wasn't sure about how Yhwach came to existence, and he said this. As you can see, he said maybe the Soul King left a child behind him before he was about to be sealed, and that goes with the theory that Yhwach is the Soul King's son, which is I'm not agree with it. And also he said, or maybe the power that's stripped from the Soul King manifested in form of Yhwach, and that's what I'm thinking, and also I found it's closer to the truth. So I'm with Tokinada on his second speculation, because as I said before, that one of the problem about Yhwach's background is we don't know exactly when he came to the existence. Did he came to the existence in the era of the original world, when there wasn't any of the 3 worlds? Because it said that in the original world there wasn't a clear concept of that, so the souls and the human lived together. Because in the chapter of the baby Yhwach, every time I read the part of the people touch the baby Yhwach for the sake to be healed from diseases, it's mean that at that time there was the concept of the death, and also people were dying after they touched the baby Yhwach. What I mean is Yhwach probably wasn't born in the original world, so how did he came to the existence? What I think is this: when the Soul King used the almighty power to create the 3 worlds that we know, Soul Society, Wikomondo, and the real world, that huge power that resulted from this act manifested in a creature that has the same abilities of the Soul King, and it was the baby Yhwach, and I think he was created in the real world. So in the same chapter of the baby Yhwach, it said that Yhwach was powerless, but also he wasn't gonna die. So I think that Yhwach stayed on a land, or between rocks, or on the head of a mountain, or on a place where he couldn't have any contact with humans for centuries or thousands of years without any contact with humans. And he was like that until a group of people found him and they discovered his special power. And that's when the story of the chapter 565 started. And after that, he came with the idea to create his own race from humans that will be named the Quincy. And Yhwach, when he had an awareness about himself, he knew that he came to this existence because of the Soul King, and that's why he treated him like his father. But he wasn't agree with the new system. Maybe when he was child, in some period of time, he feared death, or he saw the death through other people, so that's why he wanted to bring back the old original world. And also maybe he had some anger about the Soul King, why he chose to be treated like a thing with his own will, because the Soul King could say no to the 5 noble families, but he didn't. But one other thing that is still also mystery is in the flashback of Busby and Hashwald. Busby said that people were saying that Yhwach was living for 200 years. So what I think about that is, as we know, that the basis of Yhwach's life is the continuance of wars. If the war stopped, or in somehow he couldn't absorb more souls of other people, he will back to his old body, the baby body. So maybe in some period of his long life that's happened to him, he lost his power and he became just a baby, and after centuries he came back again and lost his power again until he came again to the era of Busby and Hashwald. So as summaries, Yhwach, I do think he is just a manifestation of the power of the Soul King when he created the 3 worlds. And also Yhwach's plan was to bring back the original world system that his father used to live in it. So guys, what do you think about that? Do you agree with me, or do you have another idea or theory? tell me about that in the comments. So that's it guys, see you in my next video.